Okay, so our topic today is stop teaching subjects, start teaching children. Teachers as agents of character formation. And in being able to do that, we will look into what one of the best schools in the world, Hilltop School in the United States, is doing to make all their teachers agents of character formation, to make their teachers able not just to cover the curriculum, but especially to raise young people to be good, not just smart, but especially good. School is the first social structure the child encounters, and it provides an excellent opportunity for character building. Even if we are not handling character ed as a subject, because if you've attended any of our past seminars, you would have heard me rattle off our principles. And one of our principles is that character formation is not just a subject. It is what every good teacher tries to do, what every good educator tries to do. But sabi ng human psychology and anthropology, dapat daw family. Family ang first institution, of course, no? But school is the first social structure that the child encounters. But you and I, who have been in the teaching profession for more than 20, 30 years, I've been inside the classroom for 33, 34 years, we have seen how we have more and more students coming inside our classroom, and they come from broken families, or not broken, but irregular situation. The one of the parents is absentee, is absent, is working abroad. Or even worse, in some cases, both parents are not there. May kilala akong estudyante ang nagpapalaki yung kapitbahay, no? Kasi nga yung parents chose to be able to send dollars back home. So, where now are the kids learning character, virtues, values? Now more than ever, our role as teachers, as agents of character formation, has become more urgent, important, and essential. Okay? Hindi ito optional. It is what every good teacher tries to do. We are not just interested in making the students good in math, good in science, good in English. We will, because we're effective teachers. But especially, we want them to grow up to be good people. So then, we will look into what we teachers can do so that the young people entrusted to our care will get character formation. I like that expression. I'm sure you've heard me comment on that. You are not just given a subject to teach. You are entrusted with students, young people, children, to form the character of, to mold the minds of. Many of you have experienced alumni homecoming, di ba? Nagbabalikan yung mga estudyante 20 years, 30 years after they left school, and many of them go back excited, asking around, andito pa ba si Mrs. Batumbakal? Andito pa ba si Mrs. Baluyot? Because they want to shake your hand, look you straight in the eyes, and be able to tell you, thank you very much, ma'am, sir. I am who I am because of you. Yan. Tapos ikaw, sasabihin mo, ito naman, ano nga ulit ang pangalan mo, iho? Sino ka nga ba ulit? We don't remember them, we don't remember their names, their faces, but they have not forgotten us. They have not forgotten us because they know we made a difference in their life. Now, let me tell you, alumni homecoming, walang estudyanteng babalik wanting to shake your hand and look you straight in the eyes and tell you, Ma'am, maraming salamat for teaching me addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Ma'am, thank you very much for teaching me subject-verb agreement. Wala. In fact, many of them will not even remember what subject you taught them. I've experienced that in South Ridge. We've had many alumni homecoming, and some students I've not seen for 20 years, 15 years, magbabalikan, ganyan. And then some of them, after talking excitedly, greeting each other, magtatanong, "Sir, ano nga bang subject ang tinuro niyo sa amin? I don't remember anymore. I only remember our student seminars. I only remember going out with you to Tagaytay, Batangas for leadership seminar. I only remember our trip to Iloilo, to Cebu. Um, that's what they remember, not the subject matter. So, forget about I mean, okay, not that you will forget about your subject, but what I'm saying is students may not remember what you try to teach them, but they will never forget who you are and what feelings you created in their mind. So, we should be more concerned about teaching the students and not the subject. Okay, we will teach them because we are effective teachers. We will teach them the skills they need to survive college. We will teach them the skills they need to pass a quiz, a unit test, a long test, a final exam. But most importantly, we want to raise young people to pass the test of life. Good teachers have said that in one way or another. I don't teach math. I teach students how to live. Yesterday, I talked about Tuesdays with Maury, and a few of you asked for a copy of the movie, and I sent the link to where you can download it. I have it in my Google Drive, and there, Maury telling Mitch Album, I want to take advantage of my last remaining days on Earth. And then Mitch asks him to teach about life, to teach about death, dying. And then Maury said, "No, I want to teach people about living, about how to live their life." And that's the last lesson Maury is going to leave Mitch with: how to die well by living a good life. So, that subject you're teaching, math, science, Filipino, history, social studies, okay, they're important, and we're going to follow the unit plans that we prepare in order for the students to understand what we want them to understand. But most importantly, what we want to see is that they grow up to be men and women of character, because we are interested not just in the subject that we're teaching, we're interested in the human beings, the thinking, feeling human beings entrusted to us. So I prefer that question. That expression. I am not given subjects to teach. I am entrusted with students to take care of. Character. Character shapes our children's destiny. What makes them good people and gives them the best hope for a brighter tomorrow. Advancing our children's moral skills is where we must put our energy and resources. It has never been more important to nurture character in young people. Never in the history of mankind where character finally is being seen as the solution to the crisis we're seeing in the world today. I mean, all of you admit it, we see a certain crisis in the world today. Values are changing. In many places, they murder the babies inside the womb of the mothers without guilt, and even calling it woman's right, the reproductive right, the reproductive health. Teka muna, you're murdering an unborn child. How can that be health? That's the kind of world we're living in. Um, so now more than ever, character formation is more urgent. You see, school, our educational institution is not just about learning concepts. It is also a place where a foundation can be built for becoming upstanding adults. We in the school are building a culture, not just teaching subjects. That's what it means to be agents of character formation. Every school should set a tone of respect, honesty, genuine kindness for all students. Whether they like it or not, whether you, teachers, like it or not, we are role models for students. And we are able to provide examples of good character every single day in the Zoom room, in the Google Meet room, in the classroom. Students notice what teachers do, say, tolerate, and how they handle challenges. That's a very good principle from Hal Urban. What you tolerate, you're actually promoting. What you permit, you are actually advocating. I mean, let me give an example. If you hear a student uttering a foul language, bad word, profanity, and you don't say anything about it, you are effectively promoting it. You're actually permitting it. You're actually advocating it. Because then the students will realize, will think, okay lang naman pala kay sir eh. He didn't even react. The profanity I uttered, he didn't say anything. And that encourages them to continue on with that profanity, without foul language, with that bad mouth. I have a strategy I always use in grade 4 or fourth year college or fourth year MA student that I handled. I've been inside the classroom for 34 years handling grade 4 all the way to MA students. If I hear a student utter a profanity, a bad word, foul language, I call the name and then I point to the mouth. John. And then I point to the mouth. Alam na nila yon. Ang ibig sabihin, John, watch your mouth. I don't accept that kind of language here. Please refrain from the... But without having to say any of those words, it's enough to call the name and then point to the mouth. And they know it. You know what usually happens when I do that? Joey, and then I point to the mouth. You know what Joey usually will do? He will look at me and will say, "What? Ano? Bakit? Anong sinabi ko?" They utter those foul language and they don't even realize it. It has become so much a part of their system. Profanity, foul language, vulgarity, bad words. Because they hear it in music, they sing along to the songs in top 50 global charts in Spotify. Most of them, many of them, explicit lyrics contained. And then, if not profanity, the song is about sex, free sex, casual sex. That's the kind of world the young people are living in today. Let's not tolerate, let's not permit, let's not promote vulgarity. Be on top of it. Kahit anong subject ang tinuturuan natin. You see, this thing, calling the attention of students when they utter a foul language, that's not only for values teachers. That's not only for the guidance counselor. That's not only for the chaplain. That's for every good adult who is concerned to see the young people grow up to be good, upright, moral in their word, in their deeds. So then, character formation has got to be deliberate. We are role models and we are observable. They're observing us. Short of saying, alam nyo, para tayong mga... Pag teacher ka, para kang nasa ilalim ng microscope. Bawat kilos mo, bawat galaw mo, bawat salita mo, binabantayan ng mga estudyante. And as they go younger, the more, in fact, they copy, imitate what they see in us. So, sabi nga nung quotation kanina, whether you, teachers, like it or not, you're the role model. We are the role model of the students entrusted to our care. They look up to us, they copy, they imitate. Ang lakas ng impluensya ng teacher sa mga estudyante. Sabi ko nga kahapon, ang lakas ng impluensya natin. They copy us, including our wrong grammar. Really, I've seen it. Students imitate even the way we talk, the way we walk, the way we carry ourselves. Okay, so character matters. That's why we have to take seriously our job, our task as agents of character formation. Okay, that's a topic. That's the subtitle. Stop teaching subjects, start teaching children, because we teachers, whether we like it or not, are agents of character formation by virtue of the fact that students copy us, imitate us, observe us, look at us, listen to us. So then, let's define character. That's the key to self respect, the respect of others, positive relationships, a sense of fulfillment, achievement, a happy marriage, even to success in every area of life. That's how important character is. Many companies are discovering that, have discovered that the past recent decades, that they talk about character now. Stephen Covey, I mean, that's founded on character building. To be successful as a professional, as a worker, as an employee, as a leader, we need the guide of virtues, values, which really all of them are all about character. And then I'm sure you've heard of this saying or this line, um, marriages today. There are many marriages that are failing. And the way to save it is not passion. It's not about having strategies. It's character. Many times it's the character that we have to address. We have to make young people grow up knowing the meanings of commitment, loyalty, honesty, love, sacrifice, generosity, self giving, and all those qualities I mentioned are what will save marriage, are what we need in order to keep the marriage successful. Character. That's the key to successful marriages. So, here are some big ideas. I mean, here is the big idea. The content of good character is virtue. Virtues can be described as objectively good human qualities. Good because they are good for the individual, and good because they're good for the whole society. And we teachers are the agents of character formation. Parents, we admit, parents are the primary educators of the children, especially in virtues, especially in values. Kasi nga, that's what we know. Dapat pagpasok pa lang ng estudyante sa kinder school, natutunan na niya dapat sa bahay ang kindness, respect, courtesy, hard work. Yan. But we are seeing sometimes meron tayong estudyante entering our grade 5 classroom, grade 5 na, still not understanding the meaning of hard work, konting assignment, reklamo, kindness, bullying, ang problema minsan, um, honesty, cheating, ang problema, cut and pasting, plagiarizing, cut and pasting from internet and putting their name there, that's lying, that's cheating. That's the kind of, sometimes that's the common thing we're seeing among the young people entrusted to our care. That's why we need to teach them character. They need character from us. Two big sides of character: performance character and moral character. More on this as we get through our presentation today. Performance character, meaning hard work, determination to do your best, to do your best work. Yan. Doing. Moral character is also needed to be your best, to act with love and respect in any relationship. So, this is it. The two sides of character are that being good and doing good. It's not enough to know the good, because sometimes we have people like that. Students, alam nila eh. Alam nila kung anong tama. Then why do you resort to cheating, to lying? Eh, sir, kasi running ako for valedictorian. I need the grade. they resort to cheating. Walang moral character doon. Sure, they're getting good grades. Ang project na sinasubmit nila, the best. Laging we praise it, we give it the highest possible grade. Pero they are capable of resorting to cheating, to lying. Hindi naman sa iyo yan eh. Nanay mong gumawa niyang project na yan eh. Nakita ko eh, driver niyo ang gumawa ng diorama na yan na sinasubmit mo. Tapos nilagay mo yung pangalan mo dyan kasi tumatakbo ka for valedictorian. I mean, what's the point of um, doing good but not being good, not being upright, not being truthful, sincere, honest? So, those are the two sides of character. What influences character? Let's take a look at this, because if we are the agents of character formation, we have to know ano ang kalaban natin. Ano ang mga nag-iimpluwensya sa character formation, sa character building, sa character development ng mga estudyante entrusted to our care, so that we will know how to go about solving whatever obstacles there are that we will meet along the way in our effort to build character. I'm sure you've heard of this project, this experiment, the Lost Wallet Study in countries around the world. Naglagay sila ng mga lost wallet with $50 and the owner's ID and phone number inside. Yan. Tapos, iniwan nila sa sidewalk, sa phone booth, sa harap ng building, sa mga tindahan, yan, sa simbahan, parking lot, restaurant. And then they try to find out how many of the people who will find the lost wallet, how many of them will return to the owners. Kasi nandun yung pangalan eh. Nandun yung cellphone number ng may-ari. And here's what they discovered. Worldwide, 56% were returned with the contacts intact. And 44% were not returned. So anong ibig sabihin nito? Kalahati ng mundo, hindi upright, walang performance character. Well, let's take a look. And then, in-interview, yung mga nagbalik ng wallet, in-interview sila, bakit mo ginawa yon? Why did you return the wallet? And all of them answered, because that's how we were raised. Parents taught us that that's the right thing to do. Some of them said, because that's my religious belief. It's a form of stealing if you don't return it, kahit alam mo kung kanino yung wallet na yon. And some others simply said, naisip nila kawawa naman yung nawalan ng wallet. Kailangan niya yung ID niya, kailangan niya yung pera siguro sa loob. So, they returned. All these three are all about character. Are all about character. Here is how countries did. Yan. Norway and Denmark were the highest, 100% binalik. Singapore, very high also, 90%. New Zealand, 83%. If you want to know the results of the other countries, you can Google it. Lost Wallet Study results by country. Yan. The lowest is 21%. Ibig sabihin, 80% binulsa yung wallet na may pera na meron namang address or contact number ng may-ari. Sayang, wala ang Pilipinas dun sa study. Hindi tayo nakasama. But there you have, this is actually a repeat of that experiment already. And look at the top countries that returned, meaning to say, uy, mas may character siguro sila doon. Switzerland, Norway, Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, Poland. Tapos the lowest, hulaan ninyo kung sinong lowest. Yung laging okay, racially, we are not being racist, pero minsan meron tayong sinasabing reputation for kopya-kopya, nangongopya ng yung mga copyrighted lahat ng mga binebenta sa United States. Uy, biglang makikita mo dito sa bansang ito cheaper And then they reproduce it by volume. Ayan, the lowest is China. I mean, this is based on this study. We are not racially accusing all of them. Pero yun ang lumabas sa study. Morocco is second to the last. Peru, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Malaysia, United Arab Emirates, Emirates, Indonesia, Ghana. Yan. So that's the result of the study. So human behavior is shaped by the interaction of character and culture. It's good for us to know Filipino culture because that too influences character formation. We need to work according to what shapes our students, the culture that they are shaped by. Character is what's on the inside, the dispositions that influence how we act. Culture is what's on the outside. The young people in the Philippines today, they are shaped by what they see in media, in ABS-CBN and Kapuso or Kapamilya or Kapatid um, media. That's what they are exposed to. Or in Netflix now. Or in social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Sometimes the Philippines is being described as the social media capital of the world because of the time spent by the young people, especially in social media. And that's why our culture is being affected, is being reformed, and sometimes I would even say deformed, being shaped now by the Western ideas that are coming in. Those things affect the character formation of the young people. The negative influence of contemporary culture on values and character. There's this interesting book entitled Lost in Transition, The Dark Side of Emerging Adulthood, published in 2011. It's a book written by somebody, a professor from University of Notre Dame. And let me see, I'll mute. It's a study based on interviews with a representative national sample of 18 to 20-year-olds in the United States. Now, as I said, because of social media, the Western culture, the Western ideas, like what we're going to see here, are beginning to creep into our own culture. We are being affected, especially we are very westernized already. So, what did they discover? What did he discover? He discovered that, whoa, moral relativism is becoming a problem. So, teachers, we have to keep this in mind. Ang mga estudyanteng hinahawakan natin, ang mga estudyante sa loob ng classroom natin, they are very much affected by what they watch in TV, by Netflix, by Spotify, by internet, by social media, and they may be affected, seriously affected by these things that they are exposed to. Moral relativism. Meaning to say, yung tao, wala nang pinaniniwalaan na tama o mali. Bahala ka dyan. It's up to you to determine kung anong tama o mali. That's not morality. So, 60% of the national sample in the book of Smith were moral individualists who think there are no objective rights and wrong. And this is dangerous because sooner or later, you will have people fighting for, like what we already saw, the murder of the baby inside the mother's womb. Why? Kasi gusto ko. Kasi yun ang aking pag-iisip. Kasi, yan. So, they are affected by what they feel, what they see. Moral values like honesty were viewed as a matter of personal choice rather than moral obligation. And you have students like that. Yung cut and pasting from Wikipedia, tapos isasubmit sa inyo as their assignment, as their essay, papalitan lang yung ibang words. They're not going to call it cheating, plagiarizing. They will think, it's my choice. And besides, yung active sentence, ginawa ko ng passive. Oh, akin na yan. Original ko na yan. So, this thing of Honesty, we also see it even in some adults. Some politicians have the principle of it's okay to cheat for as long as you don't get caught. Yan, that kind. It's okay to cheat. It's okay to steal money from taxpayers' money. It's okay to steal from the kaban ng bayan. Basta wag ka magpahuli. That's absurd. Where is honesty? Where is sincerity? Where is truthfulness? Where is justice, fairness, and uprightness in that? That is what is happening. Young people are affected by what they see, by what they hear, by what they read about. Then, Smith also discovered that young people today are captive to consumerism. 50%, 54% of them said that they would be happier if they can buy more things, own more things. Kasi that's the advertisement na principle. Just do it. Satisfy. Enjoy. Buy now. Here's more, like that, no? So yung what they're subjected to is constant barrage of message of satisfy yourself. Don't allow yourself to suffer with a lower um, brand or lower model of cell phone. I mean, don't be satisfied with iPhone 6. You have to go for iPhone 12, iPhone 11. That's the constant message the young people are receiving. So they become captive to consumerism. And only 25% spoke of wanting to help others or being a positive influence in others' lives. Nearly half said they had engaged in binge drinking, meaning to say five or more alcoholic drinks within 1 hour in the past 2 weeks. So this addiction is not just about substance addiction. It can also come in the form of gadget addiction, digital addiction, smoking addiction, addiction to drinking. I know some teenagers na ganun ang kanilang principle, ano? If they attend a party, minimum dapat they get tipsy. Otherwise, it's a boring party. Hanap na tayo ng ibang party. Kaya yun ang hindi ko maintindihan. May mga kabataan ngayon magpupunta sa prom, 'di ba? Before the pandemic. May prom, which is a party. Tapos meron pa silang post-prom party. Teka muna, party na yung inattendan mo eh. Bakit baka kailangang mag-party pa kayo sa bahay ng classmate? Ah, sir, kasi yung prom, official school activity, bawal ang alak. Kaya kailangan magpunta kami sa bahay ni Joey, ni Joanna, ni Geraldine. Doon, we can drink. That uh, concept, that idea. And then here's another side, dark side of the study of Smith, the sexual revolution. Nearly 6 in 10 express regrets about their sexual experience. And it's getting younger and younger. And I'm not talking just now of the Philippines, of the US. I'm also talking of the Philippines. Many are confused, hurting, and sometimes ashamed because of sexual experiences in a culture that told them simply to go for it. I mentioned earlier, many of the songs they hear, MTVs they watch, movies they see are about like that: sex, casual sex, free sex. Like as if the message they keep on getting is just do it. For as long as you love each other, go ahead. No one should stop you. Don't allow anyone to stop you from being happy. And they equate happiness with sexual promiscuity, doing what you want, being able to just do what you like. So that sexual revolution that began in the 1960s and still continue to spread across the world through mass media is the dominant cultural revolution of the past half century. The sexual revolution promoted an ideology of radical sexual freedom. It said that sex can be enjoyed without marriage, without commitment, and even without any kind of emotional connection to the other person. That's most of the time what the young people watch in rom-coms, in, well, chick flicks, as they would sometimes call them. And I'm not only now talking about the United States. Look at, I know some of you have seen this um, article from Inquirer.net where Popcom clarified, sabi nila, teka muna, 40 to 50-year-old kids, 40 to 50, 10 to 14-year-olds give birth every week, not every year as previously reported, sabi nila. Every week yan, 40 to 50, 10 to 14-year-olds. I mean, think about it, ma'am, sir, 10 to 14 years old. Grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8 estudyante ninyo. 40 to 50 of them nabubuntis every week. Sabi nitong Popcom report. I mean, where did we go wrong? Um, Morality. What happened to morality? I know many of you don't like TikTok kasi inisip nyo palang TikTok ang pumapasok sa isipan ninyo, waste of time. But here's the other dark side of TikTok. I had to study it because I had to talk about it with parents and with teachers. And it is amazing. The algorithm of TikTok is designed in such a way that it's for maximum desire for followers and likes and comments. I mean, really, it's so addicting for young people. It's so addicting for anyone who gets into it and starts using it. And you start being hungry to get likes. The race to 1 million likes, the race to 100,000 followers. Yan, ganyan. So that's the kind of, but unfortunately, well, 60% of the dance moves, some of them are really very creative, very funny, very humorous, very witty. I mean, really creative in paano niya naisip yon, yung ganyan. But, um, and some of them are really talented as far as dancing is concerned. But from what I observed, 60% of the dance moves that become very, very popular are either salacious, even immodest, or bordering on uh, there's sexual innuendo. 60%. So that's another dark side. Is that contributing, therefore, to this sexual? I mean, the problem of the sex and sexuality that we read now about. Okay, it has something to do with things like that. That's why we have to go against culture. I mean, we cannot just allow fads, social media, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook to be the ones dictating on the kind of culture that we have or that our young people develop. We have to go against the grain. We have to be countercultural. To raise good kids, we must take deliberate steps to create a family culture that fortifies children against the toxic influences of the wider culture. Many of you are parents. You have children or you have grandchildren. You have reasons to be concerned. And you now feel like going to the school of your kids to tell the teachers, "Huy, ma'am, sir, alam ko math ang tinuturuan mo, pero can you also sometimes naman comment about the appropriateness or inappropriateness of taking selfies na naka two-piece bikini and then very immodest and flaunting their body? Ma'am, sige na naman, please." I mean, we now also start thinking, yeah, kahit social studies ang hinahawakan ko, kahit ang subject ko calculus, there's no one stopping me from commenting to my class in Zoom room, in Google Meet room, in the Microsoft Team room about the inappropriateness of certain things that we read about, that we hear about. We all have to get involved, as we said in the title, teachers as agents of character formation. To educate kind kids, we must, number one, help each student build a strong personal character based on virtuous habits, kindness, respect, courtesy, responsibility, etc. This is the work of habit formation. Number two, let's build a strong culture of character in the school and every classroom that expects and supports the development of good character and brings out the best in all. This is what this talk is all about, to convince everyone, all of us. Let us now be more conscious that we are not just teaching subjects. Young people are entrusted to our care, not just to pass a quiz, not just to pass a test, but especially to grow up to be good men and women, upright, moral. So we have to go against the culture that is prevailing now. Here's another, I mentioned this in one of the previous seminars. Here's another discovery, revelation by a study that came out a few weeks back. Sabi ng kanilang research, they found out the young children today, the young Filipinos today, teenagers and below, 18 and below, they are not as religious. They don't have as strong a faith as the older generation of Filipinos. That's the culture that is becoming prevalent, where uh, faith optional. If you like, good. If you don't like, up to you. That's moral relativism again there. The kind of culture that the Western is bringing into the Filipino culture. Nope, we have to go against it. We have to build character. We have to build culture. Our task as parents and teachers is this: to develop our children's capacity for goodness, curb their capacity for cruelty and immorality, and foster the courage to come to the aid of those who are mistreated. This now becomes part of our tasks. So then, the science of parenting for character, the fabulous five parenting practices, and then we will see another study that says if we apply parenting inside the classroom, you are going to be a successful school, a school of character. Marvin Berkowitz, I always meet him in um, the International Forum on Character Formation in Washington D.C. because he is one of the founders and one of the pillars of CEP, Character Education Partnership. And I have the franchise here for the Philippines of CEP Philippines. They have this article entitled Fostering Goodness, Teaching Parents to Facilitate Children's Moral Development. And there they examined 76 parenting studies from US, Canada, and the UK. They defined moral character as the constellation of psychological characteristics that motivate and enable individuals to act in ethical, democratic, and socially effective and productive ways. So that's moral character for them. And they discovered 8 character outcomes that fell within the broad definition of moral character. If you want the young people to be moral, to grow up choosing always to do the right thing, they discovered you need this 8. You need to develop this 8: empathy, conscience, altruism, moral reasoning, their ability to reason out morally, social orientation, compliance, self esteem, self control. They discovered these 8 are necessary for moral character to be formed. And so they came up with the fabulous five things to do in order to raise young people to have moral character. And then we're going to apply it inside the classroom setting, in school setting, as lived by one of the best schools in the world, award-winning school in the United States, the Hilltop School. We're going to learn from their experience. So here are the fabulous 5 if you are to form the moral character of the young people. Number 1, setting high but appropriate expectations. 2, Number two, nurturance. That's second way of being able to build moral character, in being able to put in place systems to make sure that the young people grow up to be upright, choosing always to do the right thing. Number three, modeling. And this is not the first time you're hearing it. Every talk I give on character formation, I necessarily will have to talk about the most effective strategy to teach character, role modeling. The students will have to see kindness in us, respect in us, professionalism in us. Then they will learn it. They will pick it up and they will live it. Number four, reasoning, helping kids understand how their behavior affects others. And number five, empowerment, giving kids voice and responsibility. Now, please take note again, remember, Berkowitz and his co author applied this fabulous five at home to parenting, to the families. We are interested now to see how can it be done as teachers who are agents of character formation. So again, those are the five: setting high but appropriate expectations, nurturance, modeling, reasoning, empowerment. And the question, of course, is can they be applied? I mean, can they also work in the classroom? Catherine Wentzel precisely did a study. Are effective teachers like good parents? That's the question she asked. Teaching styles and student adjustment in early adolescent child development. That's the book that she wrote. And so she found out teachers who use the Fabulous Five, they have high expectations for students. They set clear rules. They are nurturing. They are fair, using democratic communication. And they model motivation for learning. So, yes, clearly, teachers who use the Fabulous Five will be successful, will be able to effectively do character formation, because she discovered that those who did those fabulous five, they produced students who showed the best character outcomes. They have pro-social and achievement motives. They have a sense of personal mastery and control. They engage in more pro-social behavior. And here's a clincher. They actually get higher grades. And that's one of the things I always tell schools. Ma'am, I'm not saying here set aside academics. Huh? I'm not saying academics should be secondary. No. Um, pero studies showed that concentrate on academics, character formation will not necessarily follow. Pero studies show concentrate on character, academic achievement will follow. Academic achievement will follow pag may character ang bata, pag upright ang bata, pag honest, pag hardworking, industrious, with grit and perseverance and sense of responsibility. And o nga naman, ano, if a person has hard work, which is character, then of course, necessarily, he will get higher grades. He will perform better. So that's what many research have shown us. Concentrate on character, academic achievement will follow. They will be better achievers. Conclusion of Wentzel, good teachers do what good parents do. And then there's another separate study of London schools. Michael Rutter's 15,000 hours reached the same conclusion. Good schools are like good families. So then, how to create families and schools of character? The fabulous five, give us a skeleton, a general framework of evidence-based practices. Pero they don't give us the specific concrete practices that show how to implement Fabulous Five. There are many ways of implementing them. You can research on the work of Berkowitz, and he will give more concrete things. So then, our concern now is anong hitsura ng Fabulous Five in schools? If we teachers are going to be agents of character formation, this fabulous five now will show us this is what we will have to do if we are to raise children of character. If we're going to see these young people growing up to be upright with both performance character and moral character. Performance character, which is needed for best work, and moral character, which is needed for best relationships. Schools of character develop moral character and performance character through an ethical learning community. And that's what we are going to do, starting with making the teachers as agents of character formation. So, what we so far have seen is, ma'am, sir, you want your school to improve, to be effective, to be a school of character. It's not enough to train your teachers in the art of questioning. Ito yung mga usual seminars na binibigay sa mga teachers. Um, how to design a unit plan. Ayan. Lesson planning. How to give performance tasks. How to create. Yung mga ganon. Those are the things usually that are given as seminars to teachers. Now, we are also saying you need to make your teachers agents, effective agents of character formation. Therefore, we need to develop moral character, we need to develop performance character, and we need to create an ethical learning community. An ethical learning community is a partnership of staff, students, parents, and the wider community. And that is how we're going to transform our school. We need everybody to be on the same page. And if you were with us in the creating a culture nung one of the last series, one of the talks in the last series we had in June, we mentioned there, kailangan tumulong din sa character building ang mga babae na nagtitinda sa cafeteria, the staff in the bookstore, the auxiliary staff, the maintenance men, the security guards who welcome the students, they too have to be on board in this creating an ethical learning community. We've got to get everybody on board. So, how do we do that? Here, develop a school way. I know this was part of I think we discussed this when we were talking about class advisory. Develop the school way. With input, better yet, if may input yung staff, yung students, and parents, crafting like a credo, manifesto. This is what we believe in. This is what we stand as a school. These are our core values. Many of them, if not all of them, already can be found in your mission vision, in your core values. Well, let's put it into a credo way. You know what a credo is? I believe this. These are my beliefs. These are my firm beliefs. And then better yet, make the students, make the parents, make the teachers raise their right hand and repeat that to start the week or to start a day. That's the way. That is how we are able to create an ethical learning community. That way expresses the school's core moral values, whatever it is. Iba-iba, no? Some schools would have virtus et scientia. Okay, ganyan ang kanilang core values. Yung iba naman, a man for others. That's the secret of that school. The success of that school in Katipunan, kahit sinong bata doon, tawagin mo, alam nila what is the school trying to do to you? A man for others. That's their way. That's their credo. Okay, here in our school, as we agreed, we want to make as our core values Christ-centeredness, social responsibility, excellence in academic. Okay, whatever it is, may inputs yung parents. Not that they help craft it, but they signed a contract saying that they will abide by it. They have read it and that they will abide by it. Enrollment time, parents should be made to sign an agreement like that we know what the school stands for and we will abide by it. And then it's written in the we voice. We are students of, and then the school. We believe in the importance of, and then the values. And we commit ourselves to living by these standards. That's the way. That's our way. Here's an example. I've given this as an example also in the class advisory. And the students in place is a school. At Place School, we pursue excellence in scholarship and character. We celebrate and honor each other by being respectful, honest, kind, and fair. Yun ang pinili nilang apat na core values. Okay. We give our best inside and outside the classroom. This is who we are even when no one is watching, which is what character is all about. That you do the right thing, not because there's somebody watching, not because somebody's going to punish, not because somebody's going to reward. In fact, not simply because it's the rule, but it's because I live by these principles. That's our way. Fantastic. If you can come up with like that, a pledge, an oath. Um, I grew up, I studied in Southridge School, and I was very lucky to grow up in a school like that, where we were made to take an oath. I am a Southridge gentleman, and I dedicate myself to our mission of strengthening the family and of forming people according to the Christian ideal, to be pious and sporting in spirit, to hone myself in the sciences and in the arts. I mean, we repeated it so frequently. After years of doing that, I have it in my heart. And I'm not exaggerating that sometimes when I make decisions, the words of the oath of a Southridge gentleman come to mind. And I have to make um, decisions based on what I swore. I took an oath to do, to serve others, especially the needy. Yan, it's one of the lines in the oath of a Southridge gentleman. And so I grew up with that thought. I have to always be thinking about the needy, the poor. What can I do for them? What can I make my students do in order to serve society, in order to reach out, in order to make a difference, in order to do good? It works. It works because that's what character is all about, according to James Stenson. The young people um, live according to how they are led to do and how they are trained to do. So then, what else can we do? Here's another strategy that we can use in order to create a culture. Make a classroom compact for excellence. Make the students do, write and do an oath. So here's a sample of how it can be done. And yes, it can be done. It should be done even in an online setup. All teachers work with their students, class advisors working with their class advisory during the first 3 weeks of school to create a classroom compact for excellence. The compact shapes the classroom culture. They will have to agree, ano ang ating top three core values that we will say uh, grade 5B should be known by these virtues. Grade 5B should work hard to achieve these three virtues. Pag sinabing 5B, dapat ang pumasok sa isipan ng mga teachers, ng mga parents is itong tatlong virtues. We agree on these three virtues. And then we craft it as an oath, as a compact that I will live by this, that I will follow this, that I will work hard to be like this. The compact shapes the classroom culture. It lays the foundation for everything else. Because if we want kids to develop responsibility, they have to have responsibility. And this is the function of an oath or a pledge or a compact. They are not responsible to you, teachers. They are responsible to the compact that you agree with, that you agreed on in the beginning of the school year, that you make them take an oath for, swear, raise their hand and recite the credo of the class, so that the next time around that they don't live according to the principle, they're not challenging your authority. They are just failing in being responsible to the oath that they did. Now it becomes a responsibility on their part. Okay? Gandhi was the one who said this: the heart learns what the hand does. In character education, it's often most effective to begin with a hand. I mean, literally the hand. When you say, I'm going to live by the principles of the school with the right hand raised like that, as an oath, as a pledge, as a commitment, as a compact. The need for directed practice to develop the hand. Human beings develop habits of good behavior by repeatedly acting in good ways until it becomes natural and even easy to do so, and unnatural to do the opposite. And we teachers are the ones who are going to implement it. We are the agents of character formation, whatever subject you are teaching. So, in practicing kindness, for example, here's what one classroom does. We're back to the hand. At the start of the day, all students take out their good deeds journal. And then with their hand, they write there, a good deed I did yesterday. They write down, a good deed I will do today. And then they write it down. It's fantastic. At the same time, it's an examination for them. For them to realize, grabe, I did not do any good deed yesterday. I mean, what was I doing? I wasted my time. So today I'm going to do good deeds, not just one, but as many as I can to make up for my failure of yesterday. In all subjects, we can make connection to doing good deeds theme. So it's teachers building character, whatever subject we're handling, we all become agents of character formation. This is what I wanted to quote earlier. Young people develop character by what they see, what they hear, and what they are repeatedly led to do. Then they develop that character. James Stenson, Compass, a handbook of parent leadership. And it's transformative. I mean, really, it can change the school, the culture, countercultural, ang sinabi natin kanina, to go against the grain, to go against the prevailing culture. If the culture out there is sex is free, sex is casual, sex is do what you like, countercultural. Inside the classroom, we're going to teach them chastity is beautiful, modesty is the way to go. Taking care of your body and soul is a task of every good human being, upright human being, etc. To do deep character education with a potential to transform the culture of a school and the character of students, we're going to look into a concrete example, the Hilltop Elementary School experience.
When we
And
come
they
back from
got into this character formation because they noticed students becoming increasingly disrespectful, disrespectful towards adults and towards their peers. Now, I think many of us can say, ay oo nga, we also need to do something in our school. Sure, we're winning in PRISA, we're getting recognitions, our students win in MTAP, pero we look into how's their sense of respect and responsibility. How is their character? Um, if earlier on I flashed on screen that article in Inquirer about teenage students getting pregnant, and then we think about, ay oo nga, maybe in our school it's also happening. Tapos, Catholic school pa naman tayo. Or Christian school pa naman tayo na we give values importance. I mean, we give a lot of importance to formation of the students. Pero nangyayari to. So, that's what Hilltop discovered. They need to do something. And the principal, parang ang pressure sa kanya is, ma'am, kailangan maghigpit ka. Disiplinahin mo ang mga bata. Yan. But we began to realize that discipline is not the real problem, that this was a far deeper problem than discipline. Harry Wong, in fact, is going to say that to you: stop disciplining and start managing. Discipline is not the number one problem. It's the lack of routine, procedures to which students are responsible to. You see, you make the students responsible to procedures, routines, and then what did we say earlier? To a compact, to an oath, to a way that in our school, this is how we do things, this is what we are. Let me give you another example of a successful school that lived the way, set for itself clear um, guide. The school is Paref Springdale School. When they learned about the 11 principles of accreditation, school accreditation as a school of character, that's principle number one. They emphasized their motto, which is to do all things well. To do all things well. That motto has been there since day one, since 20 plus years ago when they started. But it was only when they saw the 11 principles, and principle number one is that the school is guided by principles and vision, and they emphasize that, and that transformed the school, making everybody more conscious about, here in our school, we do all things well. Making sure that in every memo it appears, bene omnia facere, we do all things well, to do all things well. That class teachers talk about, class, do your best in what you do. The club moderators were made to repeat it often to the students in their class, in their club, do all things well. That became the guide. So that's not discipline. It's about having a way, having um, a guide, um, the core values being really put at the forefront. So this is what the principal had to do. We needed to change the idea of what students considered cool, from disrespectful to respectful. Kasi ganun yung nabuong kultura sa mga kabataan, that when you disrespect a teacher, hey, cool, you're cool. When you bully another student, oh, that's cool. Yun ang naging kultura, which can also happen in our school if we do not watch out, if we overlook itong the kind of culture that they're beginning to follow or to live. So, what did the principal do? First, she made everybody, all the teachers, read the book of Dr. Thomas Licona, Educating for Character. You see, to make all the teachers agents of character formation, to make all the teachers own the task of forming character, that it's not just the concern of the principal, that it's not just the concern of the guidance officer, that it's not just the concern of the values teachers. It's what every teacher, whatever subject is teaching, she's teaching, should be doing, forming character. That's the topic of our, I mean, that's a title that we gave it, right? So she made everybody read the book, and that gave everyone a shared understanding of what a comprehensive approach involved. And in the first place, of making everybody realize that all of us are in this together. All of us will have to be the agents of character formation. And this is the 12-point approach that was designed by Dr. Thomas Licona. We're not going to look into every single one of them. And I know some of you who attended our past session on creating a kind and caring school, you know, a culture of kindness and caring, we also looked into this. Or the session on preventing bullying to do character formation. I remember I also showed this diagram. But here it is. Tom Licona said, if you want to be successful in transforming your school, in creating a school of character, in making the teachers effective agents of character formation, then you have to have classroom strategies, and outside the classroom strategies, school-wide strategies. Caring that goes beyond the classroom, that schools, parents, and communities are partners, are made partners in this task, and creating a culture of excellence and ethics. That's school-wide. But all the others are classroom strategies as done by the teachers, the agents of character formation. That's what we are more interested in. Okay, so the premise of this 12-point approach is this, and nabanggit na natin to kanina at the start of the presentation. Lahat ng ginagawa ng teacher, how we react to situations, how we get upset at the students, how we get frustrated, how we show the students unhappiness na hindi lahat maganda ang result ng quizzes. All those things affect character. I mean, they have a bearing on character formation. Every interaction, every experience of the day affects a student's values and character for good or for ill. That's why, remember, I said this before, pag ang kausap ko teachers, I never fail to mention, please do not use foul language. Ma'am, sir, never ever. Because when we do, our reputation plummets. Number two, don't you cannot require students something you don't first show by your example. So we will teach them punctuality in the way we ourselves start the class on time and end the class on time. We show them hard work in the way we come to class every day, prepared like a professional. We show them kindness in the way we treat them with kindness. We teach them self-control in the way we control ourselves. We don't shout, we don't scream, we don't yell, we don't hurt, we don't harm. And number three, teachers, do not ever criticize your school, your administrators, your supervisors, much less your school's mission and vision, because that's our job to get the students identify themselves with the school. Pero kung tayo mismo yung unang-unang nagkikriticize nun, saying bad things about it, then we lose our effectiveness in that aspect. So this is what the principal did in Hilltop School. In its first faculty meeting of the new school year, the principal and the staff discussed the book, Educating for Character. And they decided that comprehensive character education was the best way to try to change the culture of their school. How did then how then did they implement the 12-point approach? And to do this, we're going to learn strategies that you can use, that you as teachers, as agents of character formation, can also look into paano natin gagawin to sa eskwelahan natin, sa classroom natin. Number one, and I'm very happy we have participants here from PAREF schools. This is their strongest quality. They make the parents active collaborators. Very contrary to the concept in many schools where ang thinking ng ibang parents, oh, ma'am, Sarah, kayo na bahala sa anak namin, ide-deposito namin, nagbayad na kami ng tuition, kayo na bahala dyan. Ay hindi. In a PAREF school, Parents for Education Foundation, when they enroll their kids, they practically also enroll themselves because they now commit themselves. I will attend 4 parenting talks a year. I will make myself available for chat meeting with a mentor of our child. We will discuss how to help our daughter, our son. We will make ourselves available for family celebrations because we have to show strong homeschool collaboration, and parents have to be there at the forefront of that collaboration. So, parent involvement, you have to get your parents involved, especially now when we are in the online setup. What you used to do inside the classroom, you now expect the parents to be the ones doing, making sure their kids log on punctually, on time. Eh sila ang nasa bahay, silang nakakapagbantay dyan. Making sure that they do the modules, the asynchronous work, the projects, the outputs, the researching. Ay, wala na kayo dun. We are not there. It's the parents who are there at home. That's why, if you've not done it yet, please make sure you gather all your parents online for a briefing or for an orientation on how they can support their child, their daughter, their son in this new normal. I mean, in this setup where they cannot come to class, they cannot go to school, they have to follow the classes online. We have to do things online. So, iba ngayon, nag-iba bigla ang expectations of the parents because we now expect them to do what we used to do inside the classroom, disciplining, motivating, calling the attention of students, ringing the bell. I mean, wala na tayong, hindi na natin kayang gawin yung ring the bell so that people will go back to the classroom. Nasa bahay sila. The parents now are the ones who will have to do that. Make sure you have an orientation for the parents that is just unique to this setup that we find ourselves in. So that's what Hilltop did, to engage the parents, to involve the parents. But let me clarify again, principle I learned in a PAREF school. Yung parent involvement dito does not just mean mag-donate sila. Mag-donate ang parents sa eskwelahan. Magbigay ng gamit na makakatulong sa mga teachers. I mean, okay, those are very nice, but that's not the essence of parent involvement. The essence of parent involvement here is, ma'am, please, turuan ninyo yung anak ninyo ng hard work at home, ha? Turuan ninyo ang anak ninyo ng focus, concentration, yan. Maybe your son at home needs a good study table, ma'am. Pwedeng tulungan ninyo, Mrs. So-and-so. Gawan ninyo ng paraan na makakapag-aral siya ng matiwasay sa bahay. That's part of the parent. We cannot do anything about that anymore. Hindi na yung iniisip natin kung ano ang ating gagamiting desks this year. Ay, nasa bahay ang mga bata. Dun sa bahay, kailangan may desk ang parents. The parents provide a good study atmosphere at home. That the parents will have rules about the use of TV, Netflix, Spotify, internet, computer games. Wala na sa atin yun. The parents have to be involved in that one. That's why, ang dami nun. Ang dami nating dapat ibigay na orientation sa parents, how you can help your child succeed in this online setup. We've got to get them involved. So, anong ginawa ng Hilltop with the parents? The principal invited parents to meetings to get their response to the idea of, ma'am, sir, what do you think if we work on becoming a school of character? They made the parents own the idea. Ay, maganda yan, ma'am. Maganda yan, ma'am principal. Let's do it. And then, she and teachers wrote weekly letters to parents. They got the parents informed of the updates. These are now what we are working on. These are now how you can help your child. These are now what we are trying to achieve. That's real collaboration. They become real partners in the, especially, character formation of their child. And then she even asked them, what virtues do you think the school should teach? Getting their inputs for them to craft the way. In most cases, you don't need to go through that step. Most schools would have the core values. Most schools would already know what are the 10 virtues we want to push in the 10 months that the students are going to be in our school. So it's more of getting them informed, and then maybe through newsletters, emails, we can give them ideas on how your son or your daughter can live the virtue of the month that we are pushing this month in school at home. How can they live the virtue at home? Number two, this is how they change the atmosphere. They transform the school to become a school of character. Number two is creating a caring school community, which is the positive school-wide culture to counter the prevalent culture during that time na to be disrespectfully school. We want all of our students to feel valued and connected. So, what is their strategy in being able to do that? Number one, to make sure that every child has a friend in school. I'm going to be discussing this in the class advisory. Teachers, class advisors, you have to create such a strong friendship, camaraderie, unity in your class. And there are many ways of being able to do it, online or face to face, forging that unity among the students in your class so that we are able to achieve this. Every child will have a friend in school. Nobody would ever feel afraid of going, afraid of being bullied, afraid of being picked on and being harmed by other students. Building a caring community in every classroom. That's why, well, one of the modules that we offered in June and I think in May also is caring, a kind and caring school, a kind and caring classroom, because this is crucial if we are to achieve that objective of having a caring community. So here's one strategy of Hilltop that you can also consider. They make day one of the school year a big day, a day for celebration, a day that the students look forward to because they're in on that day one. Teachers are excitedly going to welcome us. Our friends are there that we have not seen the whole summer, that we are excitedly looking forward to reconnecting with everyone. And we can creatively think of how to be able to do this online because in the schools I've helped in, Northfield, Springdale, Bannister Academy, we managed to come up with ideas on how to make the first day of the school year a day of celebration, a day when the students feel very much welcomed and they feel the warm welcome being given them by the teachers, by their student leaders, even by the parents, if you get the parents to be involved. So on day one, we introduce this is Hilltop strategy. We introduce new staff and new students. We celebrate being together as a family. We review school-wide rules about respect, responsibility, and safety. And the principal asks the children or the teacher, the class advisor, makes every class advisory class write down the goals you will work on in the new school year. So, um, I talked about this in creating a kind and caring school. In all the schools I worked in, we made sure the student leaders are mobilized on day one. This is the pre-pandemic setup, no? But again, you can creatively think of ways to get your student council officers come up with gimmicks online as a way of welcoming everyone to the day one of the school year because there are many exciting ways of being able to do it. But in the schools I worked in, day one, the how do you call this? The student council officers will arrive in school way before everybody else. They will be wearing this big sash that says, I'm here to help. They will welcome parents who are bringing their kids to school. They will even help kids carry their bags, find their rooms because it's day one and they need help in being able to find their right classroom. And then the student leaders even prepared balloons and those laminated papers with encouraging messages to teachers. And teachers, when they arrive in the school, they go to their desk. There is ensaymada and zesto waiting for them. And then in the counter, in the middle of the schoolyard, there is a free-flowing brewed coffee for the faculty as a way of celebrating day one. And then those laminated messages like, thank you for choosing to be a teacher. You make a difference. You impact the lives of the students. Those encouraging words that make the teachers feel excited about the new school year. That's celebrating the new school year. Harry Wong, in his book First Days of School, said the first day of the school year should be the biggest celebration of the year. And it's true, really. I mean, those of you who are administrators, I know your concern. You are concerned about enrollment. I mean, we want students to come. We are badly affected by the pandemic. We lost many students either to the public schools, or we lost some students because the parents cannot afford, or because um, they are not going to go to your school anymore. They look for a cheaper alternative. They are going to go homeschooling. We need students to come, and we are very genuinely happy to see them when they come back on day one. We have to make sure that they feel that excitement of seeing them come back to our school. And then here's another way of creating a caring community: the older class being a buddy to a younger class. And the students there can ask for help from the students in their kuya or ate class. There is you really are creating a new culture of, here the older ones support the younger ones, the younger ones can count on their older brothers and sisters in school. That's a very, I mean, that transforms the environment altogether. Here's number 3, part of the creating a democratic environment: class meetings. Empower the students. For example, on day one, of course, there will be class meetings. Class, let us discuss today what are our goals as a class. And then I'm going to make you write your own personal goals, objectives as far as academics is concerned, as far as co-curriculars are concerned, as far as growing as a person is concerned. So you make them think about these things, but especially class, how can we make sure that all of us in this class will be successful? Let's meet about it. What are the potential problems? Bring it up. What are the solutions to the possible problems that we can come up, that can come out along the way? Propose solutions. So you are making the students now responsible for finding solutions to possible problems that will happen throughout the school year. So, to use the class meetings, one, to help children get to know each other and discover their similarities and differences. That's creating a kind, caring community. Give each other compliments. We use class meetings to set up the rules that will help us live together. We use class meetings to teach conversation skills like listening. And we use the class meetings to empower them to be problem solvers. How can we work together to solve this problem? Many are having difficulties with this subject. Let's meet about it. Let's discuss solution. We have more and more students coming late for the online class. Let's meet about it. Let's discuss possible solutions. We receive report about bullying incidents. Let's talk about it. Let's find solutions. You're giving the students a voice. That's a strength. Now, you notice in all these things, who's going to implement it? The agents of character formation, the teachers. That's what we are. Then, making the students do reflection time. I remember talking about this as one strategy in a number of talks, in a number of seminars or webinars we've had. If there is anything that you should make the students do, it is reflecting, because they don't do much of it now, because they are subjected to a lot of noise: the noise of Spotify, the noise of Netflix, the noise of the screen, the cell phone, the tablet, the gadget, the TV, the cable TV. They're subjected to so much noise. Make them reflect. Teachers use levels of respect and responsibility chart to have students reflect on their behavior during the day. Here's an example. You show these different levels of respect and responsibility to the students. Level 4, respectful, responsible, helping others. Level 3, respectful and responsible but not helping others. Level 2, works or listens when reminded but does not when not reminded. Level 1, not working or listening. And level 0, worse, even bothering others. Before you dismiss the class, you will tell them, okay, class, in the chat box, write what level were you today? No, no, just for me to know. And send it as a direct message so that the whole class will not have to read. Just send it to me as a message. What level were you today in respect and responsibility? First, that will make them reflect, and then they will pass on to you. And then they will realize, I have to work on this tomorrow. Of course, part of it is they have to be honest. To be honest, put them in the right disposition to be very honest with yourself. You're not trying to fool me. You're working on this for your own sake. What level of respect and responsibility you have. Inside the classroom, you can tell them, um, put the number here. The people to their left and right will not see, but I want to just have a feel. How were we today as far as level of respect and responsibility? So you can make them do it at different times, for example, of the day. Or you can even ask, as a class, what level do you think the whole class is working at? That's trying to get to know. And at different times, what level did you feel we were working at during the math class, during the English class? So it's good for them to do reflection, examination, of course, as we will call it in religion sphere, the examination of conscience. It's good for them to do that frequently. So, with that, instead of an adult telling them, you really need to work on your respect and responsibility class, that's like parang pinapagalitan at saka sermonizing at saka accusing. I mean, that's an accusation. No, instead, you tell them, think about it. How do you think you're doing as far as respect and responsibility is concerned? In this way, we're laying the foundation for independent self reflection. And that is character formation. When you make them do things later on their own, not because the teacher is going to check, not because somebody is going to inspect, but because it's for themselves. They have to grow as individuals. Number five, you remember we're looking at the 12-point approach and how Hilltop is making or made all this happen in their school that transformed their schools. But so far, in all the things that we've seen, the teacher is the main character, the main agent of character formation, not necessarily teaching, but the instrument to make the students reflect, examine, make decisions. We become also simply facilitators. More than an active agent of character formation, we facilitate the formation of the character of the students because in the end, our goal is that they will motivate themselves. Gagawa sila ng tama not because there's a reward, there's a punishment, there's a rule, but because it's the right thing to do. And I live by principles. That's level 6 thinking. Number 5, character-based approach to discipline. And I remember talking about this in classroom management. I mean, instead of going around, you're detained, you're suspended, you will have to face a consequence. No, we use character-based discipline. You teased your classmate. What do you think is the right thing for you to do? You need to apologize, then go ahead. You need to stop what you do, then do it. You're forming character more than just disciplining, punishing, sanctioning, because we want children to understand why they should behave in a certain way. 75% of our approach to discipline is now focused on teaching social skills. This is Hilltop after they started implementing those things. A major part of that is teaching good manners. Good manners, saying thank you, saying please, saying excuse me, saying sorry. We practice manners, holding the door for someone coming behind you. We give a lot of examples on how the young people can practice manners. That became the more frequent activity that they have to do than punishing, sanctioning, giving punishments left and right. Number six, talk it out space. This is part of have in your classroom in certain, I mean, teach your students conflict resolution. So this is pre-pandemic setup, face to face. Have a space in the classroom where students who are at odds or at odds with each other or are fighting or not getting along with, to solve a problem with the person that you're having problems with. And these are the steps that they follow. They stop and cool off. They go to the space, right? And then they talk and listen to each other. They find out what both need. And then they think of ways to solve the problem. They choose the solution that both of them will like or will agree to. And then they will tell the teacher. It's fantastic when the students learn how to solve problems on their own. I mean, this is really what character is all about. Then you will not have to deal with bullying, fighting, teasing, a student wanting to transfer school because she feels unwelcome or she feels being yung sinasakal dun sa eskwelahan na yon, ano? Number seven, form a justice committee. School-wide culture, democratic environment, these are all part of what the 12-point approach will try to be able to put in place. Justice Committee provides further experience with democratic process by giving students an opportunity to help solve school problems that haven't been solved by other procedures. It's a group of students who can be appointed to that post or because they are the presidents of the different classes and then pass on the problems, certain problems to them. Uh, there is increase in bullying that we have received, cyberbullying. Meet about it, discuss possible solutions, and then we will hear you out on your proposal. Make them own it. After all, sila ang problema. I mean, the problem of bullying, for example, is students. Let them be the ones to find solutions. So here's how it went in Hilltop, how they did it. The principal oversees the committee. Students in grades 4, 5, and 6 serve. Service is considered part of school citizenship. Teachers choose a different student from their class every 3 weeks. They take turns. Any student or staff member can present a problem for consideration of the Justice Committee. And then the Justice Committee brainstorms on solutions. And then they give recommendations to the principal for her approval. And what is good about this is the solution comes from the students themselves. They will work hard on being able to make it work because it came from them. It's not just somebody from top imposing a decision or a proposal on them. They are the ones who think of this. For example, this is one problem that was brought up to the Justice Committee in Hilltop. Many Hilltop students eat part of their lunch outside the nice weather, in the yard. But litter on the school grounds was making a lot of extra work for the custodian, for the janitor, for the maintenance man. He took his concern to the Justice Committee, and which recommended that all classrooms discuss this problem. As a result, all the classes now are conscious and made a school-wide renewal of the commitment to keep the grounds clean. Nice. The solution came from the students, and they will work hard to make it work, to make it bear fruit. Number eight, and I know many schools already do this, they divide the core values um, to the number of months in a year, and then like If there are 10 months and there are 10 virtues that they want to push, then every single month that virtue is emphasized. The students are made to write a commentary about that. The students are made to propose a motto that they will write on every paper, that they will write on every whole sheet or every submission. That motto is written there. Or that it becomes part of the oath or compact or swear that they do at the start of the day that they will live by. For the first 3 years, we focused just on respect and responsibility, hilltop experience. Later on, it became a routine, so we now do different virtue every month. And the teachers were the ones who determined, by this month, ito ang kailangan nating i-push. By this month, napapansin namin, tinatamad ng mga estudyante, let's make it hard work. By this month, uh, their mind is in the Christmas break, let's put in focus or concentration or whatever it is. So we make the virtue relevant for every period. Here is what Hilltop came up with as their 10 monthly virtues for the 10 months of the school year. You can come up with your own. I know some schools, apat ang kanilang core values. Okay, then they make it the quarterly virtue. Not monthly, but quarterly, one virtue per quarter. And then the teachers just discuss three manifestations or virtues of that quarterly virtue, three sub virtues, and then let's push it in the 3 months of those 4 quarters. Number nine, curricular integration. And this is what every teacher tries to do. That's why we talk about teachers as agents of character formation. Kahit anong subject ng tinuturuan mo, find a way of integrating the virtue of the month or the virtue of the quarter into what you're teaching. You're teaching in literature. How did the characters in this book that we're reading live this virtue of the month? You're teaching social studies, history. How did this historical figure live this character, this virtue of the month that we're talking about now during this time of the period in history? They now find ways of integrating character education into reading, writing, social studies, even physical education. How? Well, we have to creatively think of how to be able to do it. Recognition for good character, school-wide culture, and caring beyond the classroom. As a society, we suffer from thinking, what will I get for doing this? So at Hilltop, we give social recognition for good character rather than material rewards. Constantly thanking students who are courteous, who are considerate, who are kind, who are honest. They turned over lost and found items. That's sincerity, that's honesty, that deserves to be given recognition, even just as an announcement or as a note in the website of the school, in the Facebook page, a poster that is posted there congratulating the following students who lived the virtue in an exceptional way as a recognition. And then they even have celebration assemblies where the students are given the opportunity to perform, to do musical recitals, to do skits, to do plays, to do readings of poems and stories, and those that they choose to perform have a bearing or have a relation with the virtue of the month. Student performances are then repeated at community events, other schools, and nursing homes. That becomes a way of doing service, outreach, community service. 11, it becomes part of the report card. Our school district now includes 6 lifelong learning skills as part of a student's report card. So it can be just like this: 4, consistently; 3, usually; 2, occasionally; 1, rarely. I know this is debatable. Some people don't like this kind of evaluation finding its way in the card. This should not have a bearing on academics. But yes, as a school, you can decide this will have a bearing on recognition during graduation, not related to academics, but on the ideals student of our school. The highest recognition given by the school, not based on grades, but based on their the lifelong learning skills displayed by the students during his or her stay in our school. And then I think this is the final one, number 12. We're ending a strong professional community, making the teachers, the professionals, the adults also um, grow in the virtues. We take the first half of every faculty meeting to discuss what's working in our classrooms and what isn't working, and to plan for the next month. So this becomes part of the professional development of the teachers. And yes, Hilltop was transformed. The climate of our school has improved so much that almost everyone who visits our school comments on it. And our students' test scores, we are back to that principle. Concentrate on character, academic achievement will follow. And this Hilltop experience shows it. Discipline problems have steadily declined. Peer pressure is now on our side. It's now cool to be respectful. You can hear Hilltop students telling new students how we treat each other here. A Hilltop teacher said, I was opposed to doing this character ed before. But then I saw the change in the kids. I saw the change in how staff related to each other. We're a different school now. It's transformative, but it requires the participation of the main agents of character formation, all the teachers. Okay, and then just to end, no matter how much we try to work on character in the school, don't forget, when they go back home and they are at home, iba ang media. They're exposed to all those R18 movies available in Netflix na walang parental guidance, na walang parental control. They're exposed to all the pornography and the harmful images that they are exposed to in the internet. And then the young kids especially, oh, they're many of them can get addicted to this toxic video game mentality where the more you kill, the more points you get, the higher level you go. Violence and sexuality and sex and free sex and removal of sense of responsibility as displayed by media, and all these become our challenge, not enemies but challenge, part of the challenge now. That's why we teachers, being agents of character formation, have to be on the lookout for how we can help the kids and the parents at home create a better atmosphere, environment that is less toxic in the way they influence the young people.